Hey, welcome back, my awesome, amazing students. So in this lecture, I'm going to be discussing a little bit about PHP for Mac users. So PHP is already installed in the Mac operating system, and I believe some Ubuntu Linux systems have PHP installed, if I'm not mistaken. I think version 20 and up have PHP 7 or something installed. Okay, I'm not sure, but there are many ways of installing it in your computer. Now, if you look at your Mac in the terminal and you type in PHP-V, you're gonna see that you have a PHP version, whatever that is. It could be a very old version of it. Now, this is a pain in the rear to update or upgrade. So what I do is I use a program called Homebrew. Okay, is a basically Mac OS package manager and very easy to install. You just come here to their page, copy this, put in your terminal and press enter, and that will install it. Okay, and every time you want to use it, you just type in brew and install whatever package you want for your computer. If you want PHP, there we go. If you want MySQL, like that. Okay, and it will install it for you. When you want to update brew itself, after some time you might want to do that update. Just type it in, brew update. That will update the program homebrew itself. If you want to upgrade your packages, all of them, then you press brew upgrade, and that will upgrade all your packages. So if you have a version of PHP, let's say version 7, and you do brew upgrade, it's gonna upgrade it to the next best version. But you can individually upgrade PHP if you want. Okay, so if I already have version 8.0, and I want version 8.1, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna pause it and I'm gonna show you what it's doing. Okay, it's downloading version 8.1. You can see right there. Okay, and I'm gonna pause it and come back to it. All right, so it looks like it finished. It took a little bit of time. Okay, guys, brew or homebrew takes a little bit of time to do extend. So now if I do PHP, well, let's clear this out. And if I do PHP-V, you can see that I got version 8.1.2. Okay, now brew upgrade, in my experience, doesn't work all the time to upgrade all your applications. So I suggest you do this individually, like this. Okay, I believe that you have to do it like that to actually make sure that you upgrade the application that you want. All right, so now this is the easiest way that I've seen to actually, because homebrew does everything behind the scenes. Like, it does everything for you. It takes off the version that, I mean, you can switch to the other versions if you want to. If you learn some of the commands for homebrew, I think there is a cheat sheet, homebrew cheat sheet right here, and you can learn some of the commands. But that's all I wanted to show you guys. But here, another thing is, you can look at all the programs with brew list that you have installed. Okay, and that's all I wanted to show you, really, nothing much. But now here's the thing. Yes, you have PHP in your computer and you can run it. You can open a server. Let's say we want to run a PHP file somewhere here. I'm gonna right click and create a folder. Okay, I'm gonna say testing-php. Okay, and don't worry about what I'm doing. I'm gonna show you how to play around with the command line later on in this course. But right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a file here with some PHP text in there. Okay, so I'm gonna go to desktop and I'm gonna say, well, I want to create this file that's gonna have some PHP in there. I'm gonna echo something. I'm gonna echo hello. And I'm gonna show you how to do this later on, guys. Don't worry too much. Into a index.php file. Okay. Let me make sure that I am in that specific directory. All right, so echo. into testing PHP. There we go. So now inside this folder, I should have a file index.php with echo in it. Now, if I want to actually look at that file with PHP on my computer, I can just go inside that folder, testing PHP. I'm inside that folder right now, pwd. That's what that is. It's going to give me the path. And once I'm inside this folder right here, using my command prompt, I can say php dash uppercase S localhost and I'm colon, and then I'm going to make up a port number. I'm going to make sure that this is like 9,000 or something like that. And now you can see that PHP actually started a development server. So if I go to localhost here and I type in localhost 9,000, you can see that hello that I wrote on that file. So now we can start using PHP. Very, 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 nice to do. But that's not what we want to do in web development. Like, when you have a lot of different folders and a lot of files, it's a hassle to be doing this stuff, because this you have to keep opening and closing. Right now, let's say my computer turns off. This is going to close, of course. I'm going to do Control C to stop the server. Refresh. The server is no longer there. So I have to press the up arrow key in my keyboard to go back to the last command. And then I have to type this again. So wherever I want to see PHP, I just have to make sure that I'm inside that folder and execute this command. And that's going to open a port. If I have port 9000 open already, I can do 9001 or 9002. Unless the computer is actually using it for something, it's going to work. So I wanted to show you that information for those of you using a Mac, of course, because, there are times that you might need to have a new version of PHP in your computer as a Mac user. And there are times that where you're going to need to upgrade some packages. And it's actually very good to know, especially with a with a package manager like Homebrew. It's actually very easy to do. Okay. Remember that you can always install MySQL like this. And once you have it installed, you can log in to MySQL, MySQL-u root-p. And now this U stands for user, root is the username, -p is for password. It's going to prompt me for that, enter. It tells me enter your password. I'm going to press enter again because I don't have a password. And now I am in the MySQL command line. And I can type in MySQL commands here. Okay, and you can of course Google those commands if you want. You're going to see me in my courses actually, creating some of this stuff, testing, DB, whatever, test, and then semicolon, and that's going to create a database for me. That's going to keep this database inside my computer in a folder. Okay, so that's going to be creating that. So I can use my PHP that I have in my computer, and I can use my SQL to create applications. Just like I showed you, we open a port with php-s, well, uppercase S, localhost colon, whatever port we want. And we can see our application while we use PHP and we use MySQL to build our application. That's all we need, right? But I'm not going to be using that in my courses because, sometimes you don't want to mess around with your computer. Like sometimes you have to upgrade your computer to a different operating system. Maybe the PHP version might not work 100%. Maybe the MySQL might not work with that PHP version. It's just a little bit of an inconvenience to work with it sometimes. So what I like to do is I like to use the programs MAMP or XAMPP or WAMP. I don't know if you guys use those. I'm pretty sure that you do because you probably come from my other courses, or you know about PHP already. So my favorite programs are MAMP, okay, because these programs have all the technologies that I need, and I can just upgrade these programs and it will upgrade all the stuff inside of it at the same time, right? And XAMPP, those are my favorite ones. I actually have them installed right now in this computer, and I can just, right here, you see the control panel. and we can change the preferences. I messed a little bit with this because, well, MAMP is very smart. When I installed XAMPP, MAMP knew that I already had another program taking port 80, because XAMPP takes port 80, I believe, by default. So MAMP, I think they're making MAMP to take port 8888 by default for Apache and 8889 for MySQL by default. I'm not sure, but every time I installed MAMP, it takes those ports instead of the port 80. So that's very good because it doesn't conflict with my XAMPP installation. Before, I used to have a problem. I couldn't run both of these programs together because they both wanted port 80 and port 3306. So I had a conflict. I couldn't run one and the other together. Now I can run both of them because I can run one in port 80 and the other one in this port. Okay? So those are the programs that I use. I hope you guys are using those. And also the Visual Studio Code. I think I already covered a lecture with that. What I'm using right now, as a matter of fact, I'm also using IntelliJ IDEA from JetBrains and PHP Storms. Those are the co-editors that I'm using, if I haven't mentioned that. Okay? So anyway, thank you so much for watching this lecture. Hopefully at least you learned something here, and I'll see you on the next lectures.